I want you to imagine yourself on a big ship. You're the captain of this ship, you're steering the rudder. But you're in unfamiliar waters. You're somewhere that you've never been before and you can't see land in sight. Now, in this analogy, I want you to imagine a therapist as your guide through the waters, because they've led hundreds of people on this journey and some have even sailed through themselves. They help you navigate through the waters safely. You may get them to help you go through the waters a couple of times, but after a while, you'll be able to go through and navigate yourself. Or you can venture even further out and they can help guide you there too. Now, many people have a misconception that therapy is a place where you go to talk to some middle-aged lady in an armchair, and they think that she's going to ask you some questions about your childhood and talk about your problems. Then based on what she's read in some kind of book, that she's just going to change the stuff in your head. Well, after 6 years of personal therapy, delivering over 3,000 hours of counselling sessions to clients, and doing a lot of personal development outside of therapy, I want to give you my perspective on therapy. Firstly, I journal about all of the problems in my life that are currently going on. Then I take charge and decide which problems I want to bring up in therapy. So by the time I sit in the session, I've already figured out about 90% of what's going on in my own head. Then in the therapy session, I can get them to guide me the last 10%. I talk about things out loud, and that helps me see my blind spots and piece the other pieces of the puzzle together that are on the edge of my awareness. I then take that newfound information and integrate it like the rudder of my big ship to then steer my life in the right direction. It may not work for everyone, but I do recommend this to people because it gives them more power and responsibility over your life and over your sessions. So take what you like and leave the rest. Now, in this video, I want to answer some of the common questions I get asked all the time about therapy. What can I expect from therapy? As I mentioned above, it helps you manage your emotions and leverages all of the work you're doing in this program and outside of therapy. It allows you to have a non-judgmental space that is safe to share things that are going on that you can't tell your family and friends. It helps you see your blind spots and go deeper into your mind, guided by a trained professional. That allows you to get to the root of the problem and connect the dots. In many ways, it's like your journal, but with expert feedback. There's also the added benefit of having the professional accountability. Lastly, it's a form of self-love, because making that time for yourself and spending that money on yourself is telling your inner self that you're worth it. How do I get a therapist? So you can pay privately or go for the GP for free, but if you wait on the NHS, it may take 6 to 12 months, and you don't get to choose the type of therapy, and it's generally all cognitive behavioural therapy or CBT, and you only get access to a limited number of sessions. So it can feel like you waited all this time to finally get help, and just when you're getting into it, you get kicked out the door because you ran out of sessions. So the next option is private therapy, which is the best way to go, because that will allow you to go for as long as you want, choose who you want, and work in the way that you want. You also need to decide if you want to do it remotely or face-to-face. Now, I know a lot of you and a lot of people want to do it face-to-face, but I really think that remote can't be ignored because it has so many upsides. You have a lot more freedom to pick who you want because you can go nationwide or internationally, and you can find someone who's a really good fit, and also there's no travel time, so it's really convenient and it can just fit into your day. You can also go into groups or one-to-one. I recommend doing both because they both bring their own benefits. In one-to-one, you'll be able to have a customised support to your needs directly with that counsellor. But in a group, you'll learn lots of other things from the other members of the group, which can be really powerful too. What type of counselling should I choose? I'm just going to touch on two different types, which are the most common ones used, which is cognitive behavioural therapy, CBT, which works on our thought patterns and gives us practical exercises and new ways to think. This can be good, and you may find you're changing your thoughts, but you don't really feel like you're getting to what's going on underneath. Then person-centred therapy is more focused on listening and providing a gentle, safe space. And it's good to be heard and listened to, but sometimes you may feel like you need a bit more of a push and some actionable, practical advice on actually what to do next. My approach to counselling and how all of our counsellors here at Lisa Inside Addiction work is integratively. This means we integrate the safe space of listening to clients with the cognitive, actionable advice to create a complete holistic approach. This teaches clients psychoeducational information, tools to manage their emotions, how to deal with their minds and their psychology, and this is the main methodology that we use in this program. That's why I recommend going to one of our counsellors to support you on this journey, because all of our counsellors have been through addiction themselves or have been through a relationship with an addict. They also know this program inside out and can lead you through it. Lastly, they can start working with your worksheet straight away, therefore making the sessions extremely valuable and extremely personalised. What do you look for in a counsellor? If you do want to look for your own counsellor elsewhere, of course, that's fine, you're more than welcome. But here are some things to think about when choosing your counsellor. Make sure that they've gone through what you're going through and they're not just reading from a textbook. And make sure that they have lots of their own therapy, years plus, ideally, of their own personal therapy. Check that they are a specialist by asking them what is the majority of presenting issues that their clients face, and make sure that fits what you're going to see them for. What's the difference between a therapist and a counsellor? In my opinion, nothing. There's just two different terms. Yes, you can get into all the bureaucracy about different ethical bodies and all that stuff, but the most important thing is just to pick someone based on the criteria we say in this video. That's all you need to know. Lastly, a pro tip. First, you want to find someone who can help you get out of the addiction cycle, and once you're no longer in the danger zone, then you can look to work on the emotional side and go even deeper, as we've done in this program. At the second stage, if you had a troubled childhood, it's worth considering looking for a therapist that's the same gender as the parent you had the most difficulty with growing up. Because as you develop a new healthy relationship with this therapist, it will model a good relationship to your inner child, the relationship perhaps that it needed in childhood. That will then in turn help you rewrite that old dysfunctional script.